Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for September 15th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 26 live feeds. It was day 61 in the house, and there was a veto competition and veto winners and and honestly, not a whole lot else because they're still outside and not talking a lot of game, and it's tough to watch. And so, with me to talk about it is Maggie. How you doing, Maggie?
Hi, Taran. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here, but these feeds are tough, man. They're tough to get anything out of. Nobody can really talk because everybody's sitting in the backyard in like one big area. There's absolutely no privacy. But there is some detective work done. We're gonna try to piece together what's going on the best that we can. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Also, I do have to say, I think that we're gonna have a couple pretty funny episodes. I know I'm sorry, Taryn, to say this because I know that you're like, don't you even say anything positive about this? But some of the stuff that they're having them do is so funny. It's silly.
Listen, that's fine. Just don't keep them outside.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just
Yeah.
so simple. I mean, on one hand, it feels nice and comfortable to be back, uh, like watching regular Big Brother, where I'm going like, man, this twist sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you because they could have them still do all of the, like, torturous stuff, but just have them all come out into the backyard for, like, an hour and do it and then get to go back inside. But, yeah, I mean, when they are dancing and they all look, like, half dead with their food, like, it's so funny to me. I was like, "This is gonna kill with the casuals on the episode."
yeah. Well, they're still outside. It's still annoying to watch, and it's I imagine annoying to play as well. It's
Mhm.
it's I think this wouldn't be as bad if there wasn't an HOH with so many possibilities
Yeah.
in front of us. If it was just like a straightforward week, it's like, well, whatever. Nothing was probably going to change anyway. But it's especially annoying that like there's so much game to be talked this
Yeah.
week, and it might be the last week where that is true. Um,
Mhm.
and they're stuck outside and nobody's really talking. They plan to do one-on-ones today, day 62, meaning they have not done them yet. So I don't have to anything to tell you about that. But I'll let you know what is going on because there's some weirdness happening here. You might have noticed that veto winner was plural, winners.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Of course, Leah is the HOH. She nominated Kimo and Rubina for eviction. We were like, "Oh boy, that's disappointing." But hey, maybe she's got a bigger plan, right? Maybe she's just doing this to prevent
There
Chelsea and her trio from winning the veto, and maybe there's a backdoor in play. Who knows?
that was slightly alluded to at one point, in the 4 seconds of game talk that we get from this twist, like, there was an allusion to that, so Maggie and Taryn can dream, you know?
But it all comes down to this veto competition. And
Mhm.
wouldn't you know it, if this was the plan, what a great veto draw. Because T-Core, Angela, and Chelsea were picked to play in the veto, which means that MJ and Cam were not picked to play in the veto. This is basically the dream veto draw if you're trying to backdoor Chelsea. Maybe not the dream, but like
Mhm.
pretty close to it. Like both of Chelsea's allies not picked to play in the veto. All three of the other trio, plus Leah and Angela, all playing. Um, if Leah did want to make a move, this is a pretty good draw for that.
Yeah, it set her up really well, because it set up that in every scenario, minus obviously a Chelsea win, pretty much, we assumed that the veto would get used, or at least it would be a big option for the veto to get used.
If she wants the veto to be used, she has a 5 out of 6 chance of it for sure basically happening. Um,
Especially sorry, I just have to say, before we get to the results, like, I know Angela has been hankering to use a veto.
I would hope so.
Can you imagine if she's like, "Nah."
Well, and that's the thing, right? We get to the veto competition, and it was a puzzle. Angela taking after her previous ally that she eventually turned on. Um,
I really like puzzles, baby!
Angela won the veto.
Woo! Very exciting.
Look at that. 3-time comp winner, Angela. I believe the women now getting over the 50% mark in competition wins this season, which is the first time that's happened since at least BB20, and then much further back beyond that.
No, and it's so awesome and so exciting that there is opportunity in these competitions for people like Angela to win. It really I mean, we've talked a lot about the how good this season has been and how much the AI arena twist has really helped gameplay be chaotic and, things not to get locked in super quickly. But I also really do think that this season and how exciting and unpredictable it's been has been a result of these equitable comps, and these competitions where like there is opportunity for everybody to win something. So I do really just want to say fantastic job production. Keep it up. Look at how good this season can be when something like this happens. Look at how excited we all are when there's equitable comps.
Yeah, I mean, pretty wild that we're at roughly 50% and it's 6 women and 2 men.
Look,
But
I
listen, it's a lot better than what we've had in the past.
I mean last season getting on these updates with you, Taran, and being like, well, Jag again. Like this is thrilling to me compared to the slog that was the end game last year.
Mm. So pretty wild here. Angela wins this veto, which means they have the ability. Now, I said that I didn't think these noms were great because even if you do make the move now, you do have to worry about what is T-Core going to do. Because you can't get both T-Core and Chelsea on the block anymore, which was the optimal play. Except there was another veto, the
Hmm.
janky veto that Leah won.
Did you do that?
I did.
Nice work, Taran.
Thank you.
I love it.
I had to make a janky veto font.
It looks great. I like how it's like sort of a tiara on her head.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We don't really know what this is, but somehow, some way, Leah won what is called the janky veto. And all we really know about this is that Leah was talking about how it must be used before the regular veto. And she's not even completely sure that she will be able to use it at all, that there might be some kind of additional test of some sort to allow it to be used. We don't know.
Also, she said like good thing she won it because there was like real opportunity for it to screw her over as the HOH if somebody else had won it. And there were very little details given on what that was. But it does appear to be quite janky.
It does. Now, what this really means is that basically the Big Brother gods descended from the heavens to
Yeah.
say, Leah, you have made a massive mistake, but we are giving you the tools that you need to correct it. Use both vetoes. Put T-Core and Chelsea on the block like they were intended to be.
And what do we think is going to happen there?
I think she's probably not going to use it.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what Angela comes up with when she does her one-on-one with Leah. Because look, if there's one thing about Angela, she's going to want to do something wackadoo. So she's probably going to want to do something janky. So I do feel like Angela is going to be hankering to use her veto and to have a moment. You know, she has been the veto queen all season without her own volition. And I feel like she's going to want to have a TV moment where she gets to use the veto now on somebody else.
We can only hope, because quite frankly, I think a move like that, whether Leah wants her to or not, is the kind of thing that, like, might actually break her out of, like, just
Yep.
complete GOAT status. Like,
Completely agree.
a third competition win and, like, utilizing power in a way that theoretically benefits her game, I think could really start to sell her to people. Is Quinn gonna vote for Angela? Like, but like, you really start to make a case, and I really do think that she should start to have a case. It's one thing to just win power, but another thing to then use it. And I think that the fact that she has been able to successfully trick people into thinking she'll be a loyal player, while also then not being a loyal player. I think that's another part of it too, especially if it does go against Leah's wishes. It's like this for the like fourth time in a row, somebody's been tricked into doing something for her, only for her to turn around and not repay that favor, which is such an impressive thing on a resume. So
Okay, Taran. Okay. Yes to all of this. Like, in theory, absolutely. Like, this is the type of move that gets her out of GOAT status. Absolutely. The problem is she would have to be able to socially manage the move and like socially back up what she's doing to make people see that. And
you
it's
don't think she would?
Angela.
Big freaking brother! I got this mama's heart beating fast.
No. No. I will say though, if she does, use this veto and like you said, really take the power into her own hands, X, Y, and Z, I can see her as you were talking, I was like, I could see her on a Gabler like trajectory where she gets to the end and she's like, I, in that very first week, wanted Matt out and I got Matt out. And then I really wanted, and I could see people like, I don't know. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but Stranger Things. And I I agree with you that I think that if Angela wants any shot beyond a 0 vote finalist or a 1 vote finalist, she has to do something.
Yeah, it's what I said about Leah this week, which was that, like, so rarely does a person in Leah's position
Mhm.
get the power at the time to then do the thing that could actually change the game.
Mhm.
And similarly, very rarely does a player like Angela get this position of power to actually be able to do something,
Mhm.
and to use power and to change the game. If Angela's veto got T-Core or Chelsea out,
Mhm.
like, I
Yeah.
think her and Leah get a lot of credit.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that Angela is going to start to become like an actual threat to win the game, but it certainly, when we've been talking about her on the roundtable, she's been in that spot of just like, yeah, she can't win though. Like, the
Mhm.
players, no matter what people outside the house think, the players in the game just don't respect her as a player. But this is the kind of thing that, like, you can actually, like, shake the system a little bit and be like,
Mhm.
"Hey, you gotta pay attention to me." Um,
I also do think that the problem right now that we are facing when we're trying to discuss, like, if they're gonna use these vetoes, if there is a possibility for T-Core and Chelsea to come up and get on the block is, like, Leah and Angela would have to be able to see the game clearly in order to make a move like that. And one, because the gameplay has been so stifled because they've all been outside, like we have no idea if they even have a sense that that's what they should be doing. And two, like I have more faith that Leah would be able to see the game clearly than Angela, because Angela does have moments where she suddenly can see things clearly, and then has moments where she's like, and everybody's out to get me specifically. And suddenly it's, she's so loud and so wrong. So I don't know if they even know what to do here.
Well, that's the thing, is that they had discussed it just like 5 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
T-Core and Chelsea on the block. She knew. I think she knows. That's the thing. I think she knows. I think that if she doesn't do it, Leah or Angela, quite frankly, it's because she's talked herself out of it, because it's a scary thing to do.
It is scary.
Yeah.
And I do think that if you're going to make a scary move like this, it just gets totally crushed by this twist where everybody's looking at you all the time, and everybody, you know what I mean? Like, you can't hide in your room and pump yourself up that you're going to do this. I think that's the tough situation that we're in, with all of them in the backyard sitting in the shade looking at each other from across the way. I think that it's really intimidating to upend the power like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Here's the thing. We really have no idea what they actually plan to do. We haven't seen any real discussion about it. There was like a little bit of talk of like, if the veto was used, what might happen. But really, again, like the game talk is just so stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no real discussion to be had. Now, Chelsea and T-Core did have a bit of a conversation where, just to like really throw it in Leah's face that she made a mistake not nominating either of them, they're going to complain about Leah and how they want to target her soon. And they're also annoyed with Cam for making a deal for safety this week. But really just like not really contemplating that it's even possible to get the both of them on the block, even though it very much is. Yes, definitely feeling like there is definitely no love lost between Chelsea and Leah, despite Leah not putting her on the block.
I just wanted to say, I see some people in the chat talking about how the move would be really, really big for somebody in Leah's vulnerable position to put the heads of the two trios up. And I do just want to say, yesterday on the live feed update, Taran was speaking about how you have all of this time after nominations where people are going to be campaigning against each other, for people to get mad, for people to forget you were the one who put them in this position in the first place, for people to be campaigning to Leah and Angela because Cam and MJ are locked in votes for Chelsea to stay, and Rubina and Kimo are locked in votes for T-Core to stay. And I do think that sometimes this is the reason people will talk themselves out of a move like this, is that they're like, oh my gosh, then everybody's mad at me. But you said yesterday, you need to be thinking, when you make moves like this, you need to be thinking about the vote rather than the nomination. And I think that that is so important and such a smart observation about the way that the game, specifically in the end game, should be played.
Yeah, and I think we're already seeing it, right?
Yeah.
Like we're already seeing that because Chelsea's side was completely untouched.
Yep.
Chelsea is now free to not bother with Leah as much and go to T-Core and, hey, T-Core, sucks that Leah did this to you, right? Well, at least you've still got me. And sucks that we're gonna lose Kimo and you're gonna be weakened, and it's gonna make me want to work with you even more because you're weakened. But hey, at least you've got me. I'm voting the way you want.
And that's the problem with a player like Chelsea, who is very talented. Like, she is, of course, dangerous for you to put on the block because she doesn't forget, and she will, she's not going to, going into the next week, be like, yeah, I'm not going to bother with Leah. Like, I think that she probably would go after Leah if Chelsea were to stay and she was up. But also, Chelsea off the block is so dangerous because she is really, really talented socially and knows how to make moves like that. So I I do think that if she were to do a Chelsea T-Core nomination or backdoor Chelsea, like, you just got to go for it and you got to figure out how to get Chelsea out. And you also were saying yesterday, if it's like you put up Chelsea and T-Core and Chelsea actually is handling it really well, and that's not the way that she reacts to it, then great, you can get T-Core out. But you need to make the move so that you can see the way that the people react and go from there and maneuver from there.
Mhm. Yeah. So we'll see. Again, we really don't know beyond the fact that these nominations happened and there hasn't been any active conversation, which is a lot.
Mhm.
We do not know what Angela intends to do, what Leah intends to do. Again, they plan to have their one-on-one conversations today, so you'll have to tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern to
Mhm.
find out what their plans are, assuming we find those out. But if things do remain the same, we have a good idea of what's going to happen. It's what we
Yep.
assumed was going to happen, which is that Kimo is likely the target here. Even T Core is kind of like, oof, sucks for Kimo. We were never even that strategically linked. We were more just
Oh,
friends.
come on. T-Core. Come on. Stop. Stop
Listen,
that.
I said that the bird poop situation was the perfect encapsulation of their relationship, and
Uh, tough. It's tough, tough, tough breaks. Them's the breaks in Big Brother.
yeah. Um, Definitely, not looking great for Kimo if nothing changes here. So we'll see. I mean, if these one-on-one conversations are anything like the previous one-on-one conversations, it doesn't feel like anything significant is gonna happen.
Mhm.
But, especially from, Rubina or Kimo's end. But obviously the best play here, if you want to change something, is, if you're Angela,
Yeah.
perhaps, is to use the veto on Kimo, and
And she
force
and
Leah to make a replacement.
she loves chemo, like
Yeah.
we all know she loves chemo. I do think that that's probably what she really wants to do. Um, we'll just see. I think that she might use the veto on chemo though, and Leo will be like, perfect. T-Core, get up there. We'll be like, no.
That I would say, okay, so in terms of what I feel is most likely right now,
Mhm.
I would assume I think that Leah would love to see T-Core on the block, but her
Mhm.
problem is that if she puts T-Core up, that T-Core doesn't go home.
Yeah.
She does know that the only way to send T-Core or Chelsea home is by putting them up against each other. I think she was scared to do it initially,
Mhm.
but now she theoretically could, but I think she would be hesitant to put T-Core on the block just against Rubina or Chemo because she thinks that T-Core will just stay anyway. I think
Mhm.
she'd probably be hesitant to put Chelsea on the block against either one because she's worried that T-Core might vote to keep Chelsea and then Chelsea will just stay. So it is definitely possible that she would consider the idea of what if we use both vetoes. The problem there is that she doesn't know if she can use both vetoes.
Ah!
So it's hard to plan for a thing and when you don't know if it's possible.
Well, maybe she'll
So
get more clarity. Like maybe she'll go to the DR this morning and get more clarity on what's going on. Or, maybe she's downplaying what she knows she can do until she has her one-on-one with Angela. Sorry. Just delusion from me. Be like, she's definitely like, no.
yeah, I mean, it would basically require coordination to the degree that she says to Angela, like, this is the plan. If I'm able to use the veto, we use both. If I'm
Mhm.
not able to use the veto, we use neither. Something weird like that.
Mhm.
And so we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful. I am.
Yeah. There's really nothing else to talk about.
Like, there really isn't, you guys. It's just, like, watching the feeds yesterday was brutal. It was brutal.
Mhm. Yeah. Which really I just want to reiterate how much that sucks because like we should be getting Angela Leah conversations
Mhm.
constantly about what their plan is and what they want to do. We should get T-Core and Chelsea fighting for their lives in the week that they are the most vulnerable as the two players who seemed destined to win this season. Like
Mhm.
this should be a really fun week, and it
Mhm.
is just not. Strategically, it's just not.
It's reminding me of it it's always like this always happens where the double is at the time when we're like, "No, no, this would have been a great week to watch play out," versus, then we end up with a zombie week and we're like, "Come on, there's nothing going on." It's just sometimes the timing of these twists really is unfortunate given the results. And this is one of them. Like you said, if this had been like a Cam HOH or an MJ HOH, it would have just been like, okay, this is what it is.
Listen, so far it sucked. I will hold out hope. Maybe
Yeah.
tomorrow will be more interesting with the one-on-ones. Maybe a plan will come in place. Maybe there will be a big move that's made, and then they'll all be stuck outside and have to deal with each other,
Fun.
and it'll be more
So
interesting.
fun.
Maybe.
That would be great.
Yeah.
One can dream.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else, Maggie?
No, I don't think so. I am really interested and hopeful. We don't know what's about to happen here. I'm hopeful that if something really exciting does happen, I'm really excited to listen to the roundtable this week to sort of see where everybody is at, because I think that this season, the thing that's been most exciting about it is that there is a much more open playing field here. And of course, we're saying like T-Core and Chelsea are the front runners right now, but they are in a bit of danger at the moment. And I'm really interested to see where everything's going to lie at the end of this week and moving forward into this end game, what we're going to be looking at, because usually this is the point of the season where things get so locked in that we're just like, well, for the next 3 weeks we can kind of go on autopilot because this is the way that it's going to move. So yeah, I'm just obviously loving the season like everybody else, and excited to see where it goes from here.
All right. Well, that's what we have for you then. Today, I'll be back tomorrow to update you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 26 live feeds. We'll see what happens. Tonight, there'll be an episode as well. 9:30 Eastern, weird time. But I'll be on Twitch watching it. So tune in, watch it with me. And then after the episode, we'll have a podcast. We'll recap it all. And then again tomorrow, an update. So plenty of stuff coming your way. Check out our scripted coverage stuff as well. Maggie, what do you got on?
Yeah, I'm here talking Big Brother. I was on the slop this last week. If you're a patron of RHAP has a podcast, you can listen to that. It was a really fun time. I will be at the RHAP live show on October 16th. So get your tickets for that. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at @MLMorgan_.
All right. Well, that's what we have for you. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. And I will see all of you next time.